The Fever came into Tuesday night feeling very good about themselves. A dominating 35-point win to start the season against the Chicago Sky over the weekend. Vibes were high and Gainbridge was packed once again. This atmosphere never disappoints, no matter who is coming in to downtown Indianapolis. Unfortunately, the Dream didn't get the memo. 91-90 your final on Tuesday night. The Dream hand the Fever its first loss of the season, and there was a lot going on in this game. It just kind of felt like the Fever never got into a rhythm. There was a ton of stoppages of play, a ton of fouls. The Dream went to the free throw line 32 times, of which they made 25. Stephanie White had to use her challenges, 2 of her challenges early on in this game for relatively obvious calls. You'll hear Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White address that here in just a second, but there just didn't seem to be a rhythm. The Fever went into the second quarter down 8. They went into the half down only 2, but then an 11-0 Dream run to start the third quarter really kind of was the difference for most of that second half. The Fever got down as many as 14 points in this game, a furious fourth quarter rally. They outscored the Dream by 10 in that quarter. Was not enough down the stretch. A couple fouls down the stretch, making this game all the more exciting. Kelsey Mitchell tying up the game with a layup late in this one. Aaliyah Boston going to the free throw line to put the Fever up by 2. She makes only 1, and on the other end, Kelsey Mitchell fouls Rhyne Howard of the Atlanta Dream. She makes both. The Fever are down 1 with 10 seconds to play. Caitlin Clark inbounding it to Natasha Howard, unable to get either of her shot attempts to go, and the Dream walk out of Gainbridge Fieldhouse with a win. Not something a lot of teams in the WNBA would say. An interesting note here as well, Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark, and Aaliyah Boston, your big 3 for the Indiana Fever, right? They have 75 of the Fever's 90 points in this game. Everybody else just 15. So that's a bit of a story right there as well. Caitlin Clark, sensational, flirting with a triple-double yet again. 27 points, 11 assists, 5 rebounds. Aaliyah Boston, wow, what a start to the season it's been for her. She is dominating the painted area, a serious presence in the post for this Fever team. 24 points and 10 rebounds, a second straight double-double to start the season. And I mean, we've talked at length about the microwave that is Kelsey Mitchell. 24 points, man, what a bona fide scorer she is. But not enough for the Fever in this one. We caught up with Stephanie White, Kelsey Mitchell, and Caitlin Clark after the game.
Down, it felt like 5 to 10 for almost the entire game. What do you feel like you guys couldn't quite get over that hump until late with that push?
I mean, it's really hard when you dig yourself a hole like that in this league. Like, it's tough. I thought we had a bad start to the game. I thought we had a bad start to the second half. Felt a little flat as a group out there on the floor. So, we can't put ourselves in those types of positions. I mean, I thought Atlanta played well. I thought they used their 2 bigs well. I thought we didn't really try to attack them in the half court. If they're going to play 2 bigs, we have to find ways to exploit that a little bit more. But you got to give them credit, but I just felt like just some bad starts. I mean, like I said, second and fourth quarter, 13 and 15 points. First and third, 31 and 32. So that's telling you something right there. So go back and watch the film, and that's the great thing about this league is you have a day and then you play again. So nothing to get too worked up about. A lot of positives, but also a lot of things we can really get better at. So got another shot at them at Thursday.
Hit those 2 threes to make it a 4-point game and tried to get the crowd in it.
Yeah.
What did that energy mean to you guys, and why do you feel like it wasn't there in the first maybe half or first 3 quarters of this game?
Yeah, it felt like the crowd was kind of just waiting for a moment to cheer and kind of go crazy. So I appreciate them. They really helped us there, especially in the fourth quarter, and helped us really get the lead there with a few seconds to go. So the crowd was incredible. But like I said, it was just flat. We missed free throws. We missed layups. We didn't really execute. They were physical. And I think that was kind of why it didn't feel as smooth as we would have liked there.
Kelsey just said that she thought kind of sustaining the run in the fourth quarter was one of the biggest differences. To you, what was kind of the thing that helped you guys get back in the game in that fourth quarter?
Yeah, we found ways to get stops. I mean, 15 points is great. We're going to be able to win a lot of games if we hold teams to 15 points in a quarter. I think that's tremendous. They shot 32 free throws. It's a lot of free throws. Going to be difficult to win a lot of games when we foul people that much and put them at the line that much. It's tough. They made 25 out of 32. I mean, we still went to the line 26 times, missed 10. So that's the game really right there. It obviously doesn't come down to that, but, it's just the little things. But I thought the fourth quarter was our defense. Our defense was great, and we were able to push in transition. You saw in those 2 quarters where we couldn't get a stop on defense, we struggled in the half court. They were physical. They could set up their defense every time. They pushed us out of screens. It's just easier when you're able to load your defense. We want to do the same exact thing, so.
Caitlin, you actually said before the game, teams are going to be in all kinds of situations during the course of a season, and as much as you don't want to have to lose a game like this, is going through some of those end-of-game situations early help?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, yes, this stinks. We want to win this game. But, I think this is great for our team, a little adversity. How are we going to respond? How are we going to come in here tomorrow morning and watch the film and learn and get on the court and get better? And like I said, that's why this league is so great. You have a couple days, and then you get right back to it. You find a way to respond. We have a chance to go there and play them, actually. So it's even better, I guess. We can, get a little redemption if we go down there and play well. So, obviously we wouldn't have loved to be in the situation that we were in, but honestly, I give my team a lot of credit, my teammates a lot of credit. We never gave up. We fought. We were right there. We found a way to get back in it. When things didn't seem very good for this group, at least we stayed together and we kept fighting, and that's a positive.
Just the first half seemed pretty choppy with, the amount of fouls, the challenges. Just how did that affect you as the point guard and just the team's pace as a whole?
Yeah, to me, challenges cannot take that long. It ruins the flow of the game. I get it. It's early in the year. The refs want to make the right call. We can't sit there for 2.5, 3 minutes and on an obvious hit out of bounds off of them and still not know the call. I get it. There's things to look at. There's the clock. There's is the ball going to be taken out. But that's not the only reason the flow of the game was ruined. But we're just standing there. We're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting. And then obviously, like I said, a lot of free throws shot between both teams tonight. That makes the game more choppy when there's a lot of fouls. Excuse me. But, it's tough when Coach White is put in a position to have to use both her challenges in the first half on calls that were pretty point blank, and then we're left with none there in the second half, which, you can pick and choose. Maybe you save them, maybe you don't. But still, every single possession matters. But like I said, it doesn't come down to that. No matter what, if it's a choppy game, we got to find a way to find our flow a little bit better, especially to start the game and start the second half for sure.
Okay, I try to be courteous. He's on the beat every day. What do you think was just the difference in, I guess, the up and downness of the defense throughout the game? Obviously, 13 points in the second quarter and 15 in the fourth quarter, but then unevenness all around.
I didn't think we were disruptive at all. I felt like we let them move the ball wherever they wanted to. We had a lot of breakdowns in our coverages. We weren't really helping one another out. We played like 5 individuals defensively at times instead of collectively as a unit. And good teams take advantage of that. Atlanta was really good at getting downhill. They knocked down some tough shots. But when you dig yourself a hole, it makes it really difficult to use all your energy to come back.
Given that you did get in that hole, and in fact you were down by 9 with 4 minutes to go, it seemed like it was still right there to be taken. Yeah. And that must be encouraging in itself.
It is. I told our team to start. I'm proud of our fight, the toughness that we showed, our ability to stay together. Our bench was really engaged in every timeout and in every huddle. We were all engaged, and yes, that's a moral victory, so to speak, I suppose. But at the same time, you got to be ready to go every game in this league. Teams are too good. It's a long season. We're going to continue to grow. We've still got to figure out how to get all 5 players on the floor on the same page on both ends of the floor. We're pretty disjointed sometimes offensively, just as much as we are defensively. And anytime you give up 30-point quarters and put somebody to the line 32 times, it's going to make it really, really tough to win.
How disruptive were that first half, the choppy waters, the stoppages like Caitlin was talking about, and you guys never really were able to get in the pace like you've been talking about?
Yeah, it's tough. It's every coach's frustration when you have to use challenges on out-of-bounds plays. It is what it is. But for teams to win 3 challenges in the first half, I don't know that I've ever seen that either. It's tough. But at the same time, for us, it started with our energy and on the defensive end of the floor. We were flat to start. We dug ourselves a hole. We didn't take care of the ball. We didn't handle their physicality. I mean, that's going to be the MO against us all year long. Teams are going to be physical. They're gonna push us. They're gonna shove us. They're gonna hold us. They're gonna do whatever they're allowed to get away with. And we have to figure out how to use that physicality against them. That's how I'd play us. Right? Like, we have to figure out how to use that physicality against them and get a little bit better in those areas. I thought AB was outstanding. She battled, for what, 36, almost 37 minutes. And BG and Bree Jones are two of the best bigs in our league. I thought she did an outstanding job, and we got to learn and grow from it.
Just going into that last possession, just what did you like about the play with Natasha and just her look?
Yeah, I mean, initially we're trying to get the ball to AB, but she was being chucked, so she couldn't get there. C had a good read. I mean, Tosh was open. We probably should have called a timeout in that situation, but I felt like Tosh was due. Right, she had a good look. She had two good looks, and that's really all you can ask for in that situation.
You coached Dewana for years. You go with shorter stints for her in this game. Is that kind of a plan you have for her rotationally this year? And how do you plan to, if you can, get her more involved? I think she only took one shot today.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, it's trying to figure out what's the best way to get DB involved. It's fast. Kelsey and AB and Caitlin have played together, so they have this synergy. And really with DB and with Tosh, like how we bring them into the fold, so to speak. And that's a challenge that we're looking into. We're trying to figure out, shorter stints because it was an up and down game, right? And I felt like Kels, Caitlin, and Lexi were giving us really good stuff, on both ends of the floor. And it's tough when you feel like you're starting to get some momentum to sub. I probably should have subbed a little bit more in that second half. But like the group that was out there. Thank you.
Beck will get a lot of attention, but for a lot of the game, you guys were down, 5 to 10-ish. Why couldn't you guys quite keep up with what they were doing tonight?
I think discipline. You always ask us questions, and you always hear me say being consistent in our discipline. And today we failed. We failed miserably as a group because there were certain things set in stone for us to do to be effective from quarter 1 to quarter 4. And you guys didn't see what it was supposed to look like till quarter 3.5 going into 4. So it kind of just lies on that discipline right now.
What are some of the biggest aspects of the game you felt like the discipline was missing? And like from us, it looked like rim defense in the first half, for example. But what to you did you see?
Awareness, knowing personnel. I don't know if you guys know what that means, but when it comes to the schemes defensively and knowing what certain players need to be defended, it's what we got to do. Whether it's Leash Gray pushing right, Rhyne Howard pushing left, just certain stuff that we have to hone in on to be successful, especially when you have 6'8" in the paint. It's only so much that can happen at that junction of the game.
I mean, you were just kind of touching on it, but in that fourth quarter then, I guess what was the difference for you guys to finally kind of get yourself back into the game? I
think, like I said, discipline is one thing, and then on top of that, being able to withstand and withhold runs. I think that we dug ourselves in a huge hole, and you guys saw ourselves trying to get out of it. And I think it kind of bit us in the tail a little bit. And I think for us, going from tonight to Thursday, we're gonna have to get on top of things right now. So, quick one to think about, but we gotta play them again on Thursday. So y'all know how that go.
There were 10 missed free throws in the game, and I think 5 in the fourth quarter. Just how does that play into the discipline you've talked about? I
kid you not. This is one of the hardest working groups I've ever seen. From working on a game outside of this, it happens. It's a part of being a professional athlete. It comes with the territory. Some nights is good and some nights is bad. Do I want us to make them? Yeah. Do they want to make them? Yeah. But I think that that's a part of the game, and we can't hang our hats on those missed free throws. However, as a professional athlete, it's important and imperative that we do have them. So we know the importance of it.
Kelsey, what do you think just defensively? I know you said discipline, but what specifically stood out to you about maybe not staying as attached as you want to?
Oh, man, like I said, when it came to personnel and knowing who we needed to guard, there were certain things set in stone and set in place to do, and we didn't, keep people on certain sides of the floor. Digging on Brittany Griner, that's 6'8". It's only so much Aaliyah Boston and Natasha Howard can do. So it's just being a better guard and helping our post where we needed to be effective at. It sounds small, but the small things make big things, and that's why we didn't win. And so I think that this is a learning experience and a learning curve for all of us, especially when you're trying to win games in like Game 6s or Game 7s.
Kelsey, what did it take to get you out of that rut?
I think a combination of leadership, competitiveness, and the will just not want to lose. We hang our hats on making these fans, be proud of us. And the way we started the game and the energy being low, it kind of just put us in the low. And I think that once you saw us really tap into, who the Fever is and our identity, you guys were able to see down the stretch what it looked like. I just, at this junction of our career, we can't wait until third quarter to want to be that team. And I just, like I said, that's a learning point for us now. If we're going to go get it, we got to go get it now.
How impactful do you feel like that choppy start was, just as the game as a whole? Like, there was no flow, nobody had any pace.
It was ugly, man. It felt ugly, so I know it looked ugly to you guys. And I think that, for one, we have to give ourselves some grace. We just started this thing less than like 2 or 3 months ago, and so I think it's just a learning curve as far as seeing what people need and where we need to be most effective. But because it was choppy, I think that we could have handled it better. I think that our lows were too low. I don't know if that makes sense, but they can't be that low. We don't have that margin of error. And like I said, we got bit in the butt for it today. You have a good one.
Well, you heard Caitlin Clark say it right there. In this league, you get a day off, you get to get back on the court and do it all again. And in the Fever's case, it is the Atlanta Dream again, their next game. This time it will be on the road. That is Thursday, and it will be on WTHR. Not only that, but we have a pregame show for you. We have a postgame show for you. So everything you'll ever need will be on Channel 13 for this Indiana Fever Atlanta Dream matchup on Thursday in the heart of Georgia. But we'll see if the Fever can kind of figure it out. Just wasn't the type of flow that we're accustomed to with this team. Felt like they could never get the pace up, get out and running. I mean, this crowd had many chances to explode, and they did. The Fever got it tied down the stretch. They went up 1 down the stretch, but just could not close out the comeback in the final moments. So they weren't going to go 44-0, folks, but 1-1 are the Fever heading into Thursday, and we'll see if they can get the Dream back on the road at their place. Here at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, I'm Dominic Miranda, 13 Sports.